For years, the United States has claimed Russia has violated the INF treaty for developing and deploying medium-range nuclear missiles. At a press conference in Moscow, U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton said that the U.S. is withdrawing from the 30-year treaty.
This is not a subject that arose yesterday. This question of Russian violations is long and deep.
Bolton said a former withdrawal notice has yet to be filed, but he did refer to 6 years of U.S. State Department reports that showed Russia's violations. Prior to the announcement, Bolton said a variety of topics were discussed in meetings, including Russia's interference in U.S. elections.
I can say we're obviously monitoring the potential for foreign interference in our elections across the board very closely. We have 2 weeks to go until the election. I hope there isn't any meddling at all.
News reports out of Moscow claim Putin told Bolton he wants to continue a dialogue with President Trump.
Russia has not adhered to the agreement. This should have been done years ago. Until people come to their senses, we have more money than anybody else by far. We'll build it up.
Putin mentioned possibly meeting Trump on November 11th when the two leaders are in Paris to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I. INF stands for Intermediate Nuclear Forces. The treaty was signed in 1987 by President Ronald Reagan and Soviet Union leader Mikhail Gorbachev when the two superpowers were trying to end the Cold War. Putin recently made what some are calling are troubling remarks about a possible nuclear war.
The aggressor should know that the retaliation is inevitable and they will be destroyed. And we will be the victims of aggression and rise to the heavens as martyrs, and they will just drop dead.
Hudson Institute senior fellow Richard Weiss feels by leaving this treaty, it opens up other lines of communication for both Russia and the United States.
President Trump is searching for an out-of-the-box approach to some of these issues, and he may want to consider having an arms control treaty with Russia that would include both the intermediate range missiles and the larger ones, but on the common ceiling. So Russia can keep the missile it's developing, but then they'd have just fewer of the longer range ones.
Some national security experts believe the INF treaty put the U.S. at a disadvantage. Take, for instance, China, who was not part of the agreement. The country has seen a surge in missile buildup, even hypersonic missiles. The U.S. is now in the process of stepping up its hypersonic research. This year, the Air Force awarded $1.4 billion in contracts to Lockheed Martin to develop air-launched hypersonic weapons. Eric Rosales, CBN News, Washington.